Hello and welcome to our first full episode of Season 2 of the Flow BJJ podcast. Today I have with me two of my students, Hayleigh Martz and Meg Gleasner. We're going to talk a little bit about how they like to prepare for competition and this fall's competitions that they've been through with some IBJJF events, some ECI events, and the upcoming Flow Sub Only. And if we have time, we're going to squeeze in a little bit of talk about this weekend's big professional female tournament that Polaris is putting on. How are you doing, guys?
Pretty good.
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. So what I want to talk about first is you've got a lot of people out there who like to follow you guys on social media, a lot of your kids, students, teammates, families, and stuff like that. So let's give them a little bit of insight into how you guys like to prepare for competition, what we like to do to get ready, stay ready, how you like to prepare on the day of, and things like that. So first off, prepping for competition physically, a month or two out, starting from there. What's our initial process like that for that?
Okay, so for switching to IBJJF, we kind of had to revamp my game plan and switch it to more a points-based control strategy. I was really comfortable in sub-only, so like ECIs and good fights were super fun for me because I could just throw up random submissions and there was just no consequences with points. So we kind of had to go through and make me just work a lot of positional control, which made my game a lot tighter. So we were doing that in like the month or two leading up to PANS, where I was just working on wrestling up, controlling from mount, and side control.
Nice.
And one of the other things we did to prepare for IBJJF PANS was we had never competed in the IBJJF rule set before, so we went to New Haven, Connecticut with me, Meg. It was just me and you, right? That went?
Yes, your mom and then Aiden.
Yes, so me and my mom and Aiden there, and I think Alex Gomez ended up being there for the second half of the day or the second day. It was a 2-day tournament, right?
Yeah, because we did gi and no gi for that.
Yes, we did gi and no gi. And so we did that to practice the rule set and see how we would do, like test our jiu-jitsu. And I think we both did okay. I didn't do great at all. I lost my first match in my no-gi division, which is the division I was the most excited to compete in. And that was like a super, super difficult loss. And it just made me feel like I was not capable of doing well at PANS and Worlds just because I had lost this one match based on a little mistake. And that mistake is something I drilled throughout my entire training camp to make sure I wouldn't make again, was going for the underhook from bottom half guard to try and wrestle up, but it being in the middle of their body rather than around the leg or up high on the trap. And because of what I did, I got darsed in my match. So my main focus was practicing my half guard a lot during my training camp.
So that tournament also for me did not go great, and a lot of what I realized was at Flow, people roll very Flow sub-only style, which is really great when we're training for ECIs, but during my competitions when I was competing, I couldn't finish sweeps, I couldn't finish wrestle-ups because this girl I was going against was so good at the rule set. She was super good at turtling and just denying points. So we also worked a lot of attacking the turtle and turtling to avoid guard points and that sort of thing.
One of the other issues that New Haven presented, being a 2-day tournament, was that it was 2 back-to-back days, gi and no gi, where you guys had to weigh in both days in a row. So there was really no ability to cut weight and then put a couple pounds back on.
And you have to weigh in your gear. If it was gi, we have to weigh in our gi with our belt tied with our stuff underneath it.
then
And
your
being the
DS
first time you guys have ever done that.
Yes.
But in hindsight, we did it basically as a trial run just to get used to the process of IBJJF, which, as we'll get to, paid off significantly. So let's talk about, you guys already know this, but I'm huge on strategy and mindset and stuff like that going into a competition. So Meg, you already alluded to that we had to kind of revamp your game a little bit. So Hayleigh, what sort of adjustments do you feel like switching to a points type of rule set did you have to make, if any?
I feel like my game was already pretty more so like fitted the points rule set. However, I did have to adjust some things where like I'm making sure I'm pausing after I'm passing the guard, and I'm making sure I'm securing positions and getting my points before I go and advance or before I go and submit or attempt to submit. So I think that just being more mindful during my rolls was one of the things. And also I drilled my half guard profusely throughout my training camp. I think I got twice as good at it. That's what Tom told me, like the second time, or the most recent time that I came to his school. When he saw my half guard, he said that it was much, much, much better, like 100 times better than it was the first time I went there. So that was something I was really proud of, but I've still been working on it, still making it much better. But that was a main focus, was if I were to be put in the bottom position. I'm not known for being a guard player. Most of my competitions, I've always just been on top dominating, whereas Meg's the opposite. She's pulling guard, she's sweeping, she's attacking. So definitely putting myself in my worst positions was one of my main focuses.
Which is something that we sort of knew because you guys have been training together for so long. It's kind of been a given that Meg is playing the bottom game, Hayleigh's playing the top game. You're training a lot with each other, and we sort of had to turn that on its head a little bit and force Hayleigh to play guard and Meg to pass, and it helps both of you guys. So let's move into IBJJF Pans. We had a decision to make, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to go to that, but we really, again, we're ultimately preparing for the World Championships. So let's kind of go through that process, how that worked. One thing we learned from New Haven was that doing gi and no gi back to back is a terrible idea. Pans and Worlds are just no gi. So let's talk about Hayleigh's run at Pans first, and then we'll go to get into Meg's.
Sorry. So while I was preparing for the Pans, I had went to Tom's for about like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks prior to Pans. Like I flew from New Jersey to Texas to compete. So I wasn't at home. I wasn't training at Flow. I was training with Tom and Jaden, who Jaden is so nice and allowed me to stay with her while I was there. And I can't thank her enough for that. And also being my main training partner while I was there, just getting a ton of work in with her. It was truly amazing. She's just such a nice person, and OCBJJ is so inviting. So I thank them a lot for helping me with my 2 camps before Pans and before Worlds. But before Pans, Tom had me working on my half guard mostly the entire time. And I loved how at Tom's school, when he really likes to simulate competition, where he'll have everyone circle up in a big circle, and he's got like 50, 60 students there. And he'll call 2 names, put them in the middle, and they just go as hard as they can. Competition intensity, just as hard as you can. Show your best stuff to everybody in front of you. And that's something I really, really enjoyed doing. And it just helps simulate how, like, you have a crowd watching, there's people watching, Tom's watching, and you just have to get the nerves or whatever is going on out and show and do jiu-jitsu. So that's something that was really, really awesome to do there. And then at Pans, I didn't do the most amazing. I had my first match, which I did dominate on points. I was on top the entire time. Tom was coaching me, and I won my first match, and then I won my second match. The girl jumped closed guard, and I spent about half of the match opening it, grabbing the biceps, standing up, putting a knee in the middle and dropping back down. My favorite way to open the closed guard, and it's worked pretty well for me almost every single time I'm in somebody's closed guard. And I think I won that match on points as well. And then my third match, I lost on points. I had this very, very tall, strong girl from New Wave, who I had a match against in the semifinals. And we were on the feet, and she ended up with a takedown and just was smothering me so hard, like so hard throughout that match. And I couldn't get out. It was like probably the most pain I've ever been in the bottom position, for sure. She was trying to smother choke me. It was just awful.
I believe it was Ann Griffith, right, from New Wave?
Hannah Griffith from New Wave. Yeah, she was super nice after the match, but in the match she was not very nice. And and I was just trying to recover my half guard, and I remember just like looking at Tom, and he was just trying to coach me out of it. But she didn't catch me in a submission, and I ended up losing by a significant amount of points. I think it was like 30-0, pretty sure. So that was really heartbreaking for me at the Pans. And I remember just being very, very upset after, and Jaden and my mom coming and talk to me. And I tried to get it together for the absolute division. I tried to be ready, but I had a huge adrenaline dump, and I just was not mentally there, and I didn't do well in my absolute division either. So
I think this is important to talk about too, for fans and for competitors and everyone in between, is that everyone sees the perfect Instagram competitor where they win every single match for their entire life. And that's absolutely not the case for almost every grappler on the planet. You're going to suffer a significant number of losses along the way as you go. The higher you go, the harder it's going to be. So it's something that I feel like is important to be transparent with everybody, that you can't win every time. It's just not possible. So Meg, your Pans run obviously went significantly better than Hayleigh's, so let's go through that.
Pans was really fun. That was probably like the most fun I've had at a tournament, like ever. I felt like I was in a really good flow state all day. My first two girls, though, they did not have the best jiu-jitsu. I think I got a quick Americana, and then I got like a quick RNC choke. So that just kind of built up a lot of momentum. And like going into Pans, I had very just no expectations. I wanted to do good. I really didn't want to just lose my first match. That was like the main thing I was focused on. Just like,
because if we think about it, we flew from Maine. I drove from Maine to New Jersey and flew to Texas to be able to be there. Meg flew from Maine to Texas. Like, we spent so much money and hard work and our goals. So just to go and lose first round would be horrible.
I was really happy that it was kind of just like me and Hayleigh. I would have obviously liked to have Hayden there, but I'm glad we didn't have a bunch of people, so we could just really focus. And
that is the hard part with single elimination tournaments that are not close to home. It can be over in 10 seconds.
A lot of stress. So once I kind of got my first win and it was a sub, I was really excited. So that kind of built momentum. My hardest match, and that was probably my match against B. She's super technical. Aiden had hyped her up. She's like from New Wave. She runs the women's program. She's like, she's really good. I'm like, okay. Me and her, we had a really good match. I remember she had a really tight straight ankle lock on me, and that definitely did a bit of damage, but it wasn't, I didn't need to tap. I had Jaden coaching me through that, and Jaden was a really great coach because she was yelling and no one sounded like her. So it was perfect to be able to pick her out. And she was a big part of my success in Pans for sure.
Yeah.
And then my last match was super fun. I her name's Sierra, and we went and I did my invert back take and I RNC'd in about like 45 seconds.
I remember watching that, like coming off of my mat and walking through the middle and then just seeing Meg. I was like, I saw her feet go up over the hips and I was like, that's over soon.
Yeah. With her, she was really good, and she had aggressive top passing, which is something that kind of makes my guard game fall apart, which I then used my invert back take, so I kind of bailed to north-south and hit that on her. And she was really sweet afterwards. She came up to me and she's like, I can't even be mad. That's just super cool. I need to start hitting that. So I met some great people, and I had a really good time.
Nice.
And the team was going crazy while you were doing that.
The
squad was going crazy.
And let's not gloss over the fact that
we sounded like Daisy Fresh. Sure.
After winning gold at Pans, you went on a pretty serious run through the absolute division as well, and got third. You just sort of ran out of gas.
You just
I was so falling
close.
Apart.
You were so close.
I think I don't know if you won 3 or 4, but
I think I won 2 and lost my third.
But the girl was, basically 50 pounds bigger than you, or 40 pounds bigger than you. And super fit and strong too, but you still almost won.
Yes. I looked good against her, but I was not in the right position to stop the arm bar.
So after Pans, we decided sort of at the last second that we were going to do Emerald City. I talked to Tom about it. I don't remember if I told you guys this or not, and Tom basically advised that it would be okay to do it as long as you continue to train the IBJJF rule set.
You did talk to us about that. I remember going into it, it's like, we're just going to keep working for Worlds.
Right.
Do what you are going to do at Worlds here.
Yep. So you had a match against Amy Camilli, who I believe won gold in the Masters 1 division at Pans. Mm-hmm. How did that go?
It went really good. I thought I was going to go to overtime, but it didn't quite. I got a sub at the end with an RNC, but basically I passed her guard and was on top the whole match, but she was really good at escaping my back control and was really hard. I really like basically pinning people belly down in back control, and she was not gonna let me do that.
She's not having it.
So that match took a lot of energy. I remember just going so hard for the sub at the end because I really did not want to go to overtime where my grip strengths, I could tell, were kind of burned.
And for the people that we're using a quick abbreviation here of ECI, for the people not familiar with the competition scene, we're talking about the Emerald City Invitational. It's either typically held in Atlantic City, New Jersey, or in Syracuse, New York. It's the promotion put on by Sam McHale. I believe Hayleigh's match, you had a match against 10th Planet, Laura Kent. Fill us in on that, the good, the bad, and
Okay, so I'm just gonna start and say something that maybe not everybody knows. This has nothing to do with my match, but me getting from Maine to New Jersey was kind of hectic. So I was riding down with Aiden, Austin, and Jacob, and we were like, I don't know where we were. We were in like Connecticut or something, and we got into a little fender bender on the way. No problem, right? Like we were kind of running behind, so we had to pull over and wait for like the state trooper to come and like fill out the accident work we waited for like an hour and a half. So we're just chilling. We're just waiting to go. And we finally get back on the road, and we're going down the highway. We made it like a little ways, and then the hood of the vehicle like crashes into the windshield and just shatters the entire windshield. It just shatters it. We're like on the highway, so we have to like pull over. Luckily, we're in the right lane, so we could just like pull over. And the whole windshield had shattered. So it was kind of hectic getting all the way to New Jersey. We didn't get there until like late that night. And then finding a way back was also kind of difficult. We were shoved 4 people in the 3-seat of the back of the car.
That was a little rough.
That was kind of rough.
Yeah, we kind of just put everyone in random cars.
Yes. Anyways, so fast forward to the match. I was trying to be really, really mentally prepared for this match. I had some tape on her that I had been studying. I knew she was a talented guard player, a closed guard preferably, a high closed guard, 10th Planet Dead Orchard style, and also proficient at leg locks. So I had been drilling leg lock escapes and opening the closed guard and passing with my aggressive style. That's what I had been working and preparing for this competition, as well as the overtime rule set. But I didn't emphasize my training on the overtime just because I wanted to stay in the world's mindset. So I feel like I'm pretty happy with my performance in the time period of the match. Disregarding overtime. Overtime, like in the actual match itself, I was pretty happy with my performance. I was trying to avoid the closed guard pull. She jumped closed guard, and there wasn't really much I could do about it. She was a lot taller than me, longer legs than me. But she jumped closed guard, and that's where I was, and I was like, okay. So I put 2 hands on the biceps, jumped up, put a knee in the middle, and opened the closed guard successfully, pretty quickly. And then from there, I was just standing passing, and I passed her guard twice throughout that match. And for the rest of it, I was pretty much on top, just in north-south, trying to advance, side control to mount. I set up an armbar at one point, but I lost it and took top again. And then overtime came, and I was up on ride time in the second round. And then in the third round, she chose armbar, and she armbarred me in overtime. And then I took her arm for the last round, and I lost the armbar. It slipped. And so I lost in overtime of that match, which was pretty upsetting. I really, really wanted that win. She was a higher belt than me at the time. The commentator said she was a brown belt, but I guess she was just a purple belt, but got her brown a couple days after. So I just really, really wanted that win, and it really, really hurt when I didn't get it.
That being said, performance-wise, knowing that we were and are preparing for IBJJF events, and we didn't spend the normal amount of time working on overtime that we typically would for an event like that, all of the aspects of an IBJJF game, passing the guard, scoring your points in top control, attacking from the top, all those things went off perfectly for the type of practice that we put in. So it's to be expected. I'm okay with the outcome. Obviously, we always want the win, but under any other rule set, whether it's IBJJF, ADCC, that's going to be a victory. 10th Planet is very, very good at EBI overtimes for obvious reasons, but still pretty happy with that outcome overall.
Yeah, she's definitely somebody who I would like to have a match with again. If there's any promoters out there who would like to put that on, and if she would agree to it, that'd be a great match again, because I think it was something. I heard a lot of good things about the match when people were watching, and it kept people watching and interested. So I definitely want to run it back again.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about the weeks leading up to Worlds and the World Championships in Anaheim, California. So preparation-wise, we spent basically every day from the end of Emerald City until the Worlds in December preparing. And then Hayleigh, you, with a couple weeks to go, went down to Tom's to continue training. Meg, you stayed back with me, and we focused 100% on every detail we could think of. So how did you guys feel leading up to Worlds, mindset-wise and preparation-wise?
I felt strong. I was dealing with a lot of things going on, so I was kind of tired. My cardio wasn't the best, but I knew it was going to work. It was good. We worked a lot more of my guard passing, and that now I feel is so much better than it was for pans, so that was really good. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what else we did for preparation. I did some lifting, trying to get my cardio back up, just doing a lot of hard training and just getting ready to escape and get on top, lots of wrestling up
And knee levers and
yes,
and working towards the back and scoring, passing, the typical point system
Yeah,
you know,
my
rule
whole
sets.
game plan usually is always just get to the back.
Right.
Stay on the back. So we did a lot of controlling the back. I was working double unders a lot because at Pans, Jaden was coaching me constantly to get double unders, and that was working so well for control. So I added that in and just some other little details to just get it better for Worlds.
All right, so let's talk about Hayleigh, your run in your division, and then we'll talk about Meg's division, and then we'll talk about the absolute division. So, you fight at medium heavy, I believe. So, tell us about your matches in your division.
So I believe that I had a first round bye in my division. I'm pretty sure, just because of how I did at Pans. I think I got seated like relatively high, like third or fourth. So I think I had a first round bye, and then I had a match with, I believe her name was Taylor something. I don't really recall, but she was really, really strong, like way stronger than I expected. The shorter girls are always way stronger than you expect them to be, including myself. So I had a match with her, and it was wrestling heavy. Which I was kind of excited about. But I definitely I feel like this every time I compete, is I just get gassed in my first match. And throughout that match, I believe I eventually got the takedown or a scramble and ended up on top. And I ended up beating her on points. I think I passed her guard nearing the end, and I beat her just by a couple points. And then in my second match, I had faced somebody who I had already had a match with before, and she's a talented grappler. We were wrestling, and then she ended up jumping guard, and I definitely, that was very unexpected. I guess I didn't realize jumping guard was legal in IBJJF, so I wasn't expecting it. I knew she was a closed guard player or just a guard player in general, but she jumped guard, and my knee caved in a little bit, and it definitely was painful throughout the match and caught me off guard, and she ended up catching me in an arm bar from guard, so I lost my second match in my division, and that was very, very heartbreaking as well.
Yeah, it was I believe you had 13 or 14 people in your division, so
Yeah.
you did not medal in your division.
No, I did. I got third.
With the bye, okay, you got third. That's
Yes.
right. Okay, and then Meg, I want to talk about your first match myself, and then we're going to go on, because leading into it, I'm looking as this other girl from 10th Planet is stepping onto the mats in this full matching kit, looking 100%
She was
the part.
tall, right?
She was pretty tall for your weight class, and there's certain things that we wanted to work on and or avoid some of the weaknesses of your game, and the match almost immediately ended up in those positions.
That was closed guard,
Yeah.
right? I was stuck there for a while.
Yeah. So, but once we took care of that position, long story short, she ended the match unconscious. You were able to pass the guard. I believe she turtled, or in some sort of transition, you were able to take the back and finish a rear naked choke. She elected not to tap and went out for probably 15 seconds or so.
There is a screenshot, and just don't let the meme pages get a hold of it, okay?
She was out. I remember her being very unconscious on top of me. I was like, oh, this is
Yes.
new.
Yeah, she was out on top of
She's
you.
like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
That being said, hats off to her, because she was a very, very tough competitor. Probably one of the tougher ones that you fought against, at least
She was.
From my point of view. And then you had, I believe, 3 more matches. So let's kind of go through that run of through Worlds.
So honestly, I remember like my first match, my last match. I remember after my first match feeling like I was super hyped. Like I got a sub. That was super cool, but also feeling like super drained. And like Pans, as I said, was perfect. I felt so good, flow state the whole time. So I was kind of expecting to like get back there and just be feeling perfect and like on top of everything. So when I wasn't quite feeling that, I was kind of feeling like a little tired, a little achy. It was kind of stressful.
We talked about that during it.
Yes.
It definitely was.
Yes, because
going through the Worlds division was definitely a physical and mental grind for you, where it was not in pants.
No, the girls were definitely much tougher, and I don't think my cardio was as good. But we got some water in me. What else did we got?
Electrolytes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I needed electrolytes. After that, I kind of woke up. I'm like, oh, that's what was missing. So after that, I felt a little bit better, and we just kind of went through it. The middle matches, I don't think I got any submissions. I think I mostly dominated on points by passing guard or sweeping, getting on top, and then controlling back. I remember I got to one of my favorite positions where I just had a girl flattened out on her stomach and I was on her back. I remember being frustrated. I couldn't dig my hand under for the choke, but it was still fun because she was all completely flat.
Yes. Your finals match, I believe, was against Sierra Hoover.
Yes.
From Aries.
Which is the same girl I had at Pants.
Yes.
So going into that, I was like, she knows my bullshit tactic. She knows that. And I also know that she has very aggressive guard passing. So when I slap bumped, obviously I sat. I've watched her Instagram. She's a great wrestler. I'm not going to try and play with that. She will toss me. I would love to train wrestling with her, though. That would be fun, just not when points are involved. So I sat guard, and I was just trying to get grips on her, but she would not let me touch her. Just didn't want to do anything, didn't want to touch me. Not that she was stalling, she was just fighting my grips, only wanted grips for herself, which makes sense. So eventually, we start engaging and getting into it. She's doing her fast guard passing, and I'm able to hit my back take again, which is really cool. And I'm sure that definitely hurt for her. It definitely was not fun. I was a little worried about that match because she is super strong, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do the same thing again against her guard passing. So basically, I think I won just riding out the time. I think it was 6-0 for me with back points and maybe pass points or something. I
believe so, yeah. At least 6. It may have even ended up being more than that. I think she may have rolled over and you might have gotten mount or something as well. But
maybe.
I remember having a conversation with Tom, and I don't remember if it was right after Pans or if it was the leading up to Worlds when you were facing that girl again. But he was talking about your back take. And I don't want to get into too much detail about how it works and what you do, but if someone really wants to find it, they'll find it.
It's on my Instagram. You can see it.
But Tom said, that stuff's only going to work once. And right after you did it twice to the same girl in the finals both times to win.
Yes.
Gold at Pans and gold at Worlds with the exact same move. It's interesting how things work sometimes, for sure.
Yes. I don't think it's the most technically sound move, but I'd much prefer that than getting my guard passed, and it works very well for bailing to north-south.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so let's talk, Hayleigh, about your absolute division run. But first, before we talk about the matches, I just want to talk about I alluded to this earlier, but I'm huge on strategy and mindset. We finished your division with bronze medal,
into tears,
subpar performance, a injured knee and from a guard pull, and an injured arm from the armbar, and really just in general a not a great mindset to be in. So we had a pretty lengthy conversation in between your division and the absolute division, and I think that we were able to correct a lot of mistakes on the fly, change up our strategy and correct your mindset. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think that was definitely a big factor. So let's talk about your first match in Absolute.
So before the match, when I was deciding whether or not I would do the Absolute division, I was like, kind of like, why wouldn't I? Like, this is the only reason I'm here. I flew here. This is an opportunity I have, and I wasn't about to deny it. So even like with my little injuries, my mom CBD'd me up and I was ready to go. So
ibuprofen got in there too.
Yeah. Definitely some ibuprofen, some electrolytes, and I was ready to go. So Meg and I were warming up, and I had my AirPods in. I was just like listening to what my playlist, like my Get Amped Up playlist, and I was getting ready to go out and compete. Meg and I were warming up, flow rolling, regular rolling, whatever we were doing. And my dad definitely gave me a mental shift for me to go and compete in this division. I definitely needed it, and it definitely was most likely the difference between whether I won my first match or just mentally crumbled like I did at Pans. I believe like at Pans, my mentality was just not there. I just felt like nothing mattered, and I lost my first match with a horrible performance. So at Worlds, I wasn't going to let that happen again, and my dad knew exactly what to say. He knows me better than any coach that I could probably have, and he told me to think about it more as a sub-only match. He doesn't care what happens. He doesn't care if there gets points, if I get points scored on me. Just go out there and show that you know what you're doing and that you can do jiu-jitsu. So going out there without the pressure of the points, without mentally being scared to do anything because the other person could score points, was definitely a big change for me. So my first match, I had a very big girl. I think she was a super heavyweight girl. And I remember being out there, and I knew I was faster and had better cardio than her. So I was just super heavy hand fighting. I was definitely trying to fatigue her. I was clubbing the head a lot. I was shoulder tapping, moving around a lot, stutter stepping, just hand fighting heavily. And I ended up getting some takedowns, scoring points. She would get back up and score some more takedowns. I don't remember this match super specifically. I think I got to some dominant positions, but I believe I beat her on points. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
That one was, for anybody who was watching at home on Flow Grappling, at least half of that match, the camera was not pointed at the two of them. They were off the mat a significant number of times.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was high on my adrenaline, and I can't watch it back really, so I don't really remember. But my second match, I had another super heavyweight or heavyweight girl. And she was tall, and this is the girl that Meg lost to in the finals of the Absolute, or at Pans.
Yes.
Yep. At her last match. She just ran out of gas and a little bit of height and strength, so I was gonna avenge her.
And you did.
Yes, you did. Quite a bit.
So I don't remember how I took her down, but I was clubbing the head, same strategy as before, and I took her down. And I remember once it got to the ground, I passed her guard pretty quickly, and she was definitely trying to recover her half guard. She was trying to snakey out and push the knee down and recover my ankle and then eventually my knee. So after she did this, I would just windshield wiper, pass the guard again, and get another 3 points. And I did this about 5 or 6 times.
I think I watched that
and
match.
I think
brutal.
I was up by like 20 something points. And I was starting to go for subs. And I noticed her setting up like some heel hook type thing. I don't even know if it was intentional on her part, but she disqualified herself at the end of that match. But I was happy with my performance before then. And then my third match, and as I was winning, I was gaining my confidence back. I was like remembering what I came here for, what I'm capable of, what my dream was. And my third match, I was definitely getting nervous. The girl looked really good. She trains under Janji Ribeiro. And
Elizabeth Sebastian from Six Blades.
Yes, she was from Six Blades. She was super nice, but she was tall and jacked. And
Very jacked.
So I was getting a little bit nervous, but I was definitely still confident in my jiu-jitsu. And I remember my mom coming over to me and saying, she was like, don't think for a second that you're not capable of beating this girl. Just don't even think that for 1 second. And she got my head. She reminded me. And so when it was time to go out there, we went out, we slap bumped, and I started hand fighting. I felt pretty strong against her, surprisingly. I felt like pretty well matched. And then I initiated a takedown. It went out of bounds. We got reset in the middle, and I
hit
initiated
1 or 2 nice
hip tosses. I hit a hip toss, and she hit the mat and then got back up really fast before I could consolidate the position. And then I remember initiating another takedown or throw, and she went to the 4-point position on her hands and her feet. And I never really do this ever, but I just climbed on her back and forward rolled, and I was on her back with a body triangle. I unlocked it to get my points and then put the body triangle back in. And as I was falling, I got my hand under her neck and grabbed her trap. So I was already under her neck before I even fully had the back position, which was super helpful, not having to, it's the most annoying part of back control, which is not my strongest position, but I'm getting better and better at it. But the most annoying part for me is trying to get under their chin to submit them. It's just time consuming and exhausting and frustrating. So I got it before I even fell, and I got my points, I locked the body triangle back up, and I slowly inched my way to the submission, and I finished her with the RNC in a minute and a half. And then my last match was against a girl who...
Before we get to the last match. So it was 4 matches in the absolute division, and I distinctly remember you winning your 3rd match against Elizabeth from Six Blades, and we had to walk and change mats for the finals, and we had to walk around the mats to the other side.
Oh yeah.
And only the coaches and the competitors were allowed on the floor. So Sandy called me from the stands. She was sitting there watching the matches with Andrew Tackett.
Yeah.
And she called me and was giving me advice to tell you to watch out for this and watch out for that. And I told her that nobody needs to tell you anything right now, because there's no one that can beat you on the current run that you're on. This is very similar to the zone that Meg was in when she won the Pans division.
Mm-hmm. It looked exactly. I'm like, Hayleigh's experiencing what I
said she can't lose right now. I have no doubt in my mind that there's no way she's going to lose this match. She's on a roll. And so the finals match was against a very talented Molly Zabrowski,
mm-hmm.
who we have been waiting for a chance for you to fight against her.
Yes, I've definitely been wanting a match with her. It's been talked about several times. I believe it was almost set up on Emerald City, but somehow it didn't go through. So I was nervous for sure for this match, because I've been wanting it. It's what I wanted, but I was also like, okay, this is perfect. This is my chance. It's in the finals of the world's absolute division. So I had a match with her. I know she's a guard player. And it took a long time I didn't realize that for IBJJF, they pull 3 refs over or 4 refs over. There's chairs in places. And
yes.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah.
that was a shock.
Yeah. So then it was finally time for the match. So it took a while, but we came out, we slapped hands, and I was incredibly nervous, but I was also on a run, and I was super confident. So she pulled guard after a little bit of hand fighting, I believe. I think she jumped guard.
Jumped guard
again. And I opened the closed guard the same way.
This time we were prepared for the jumping of closed guard, unlike with
that definitely
Marisol Martinez.
yeah, it definitely worked out that I had that match before I had this one, because being prepared for jumping the guard and knowing that it was legal and just being mentally prepared for it was helpful. But she jumped guard and I opened the closed guard the way I always do. It took a little bit of time, but
I thought it was pretty quick. I don't think you were in her closed
We
guard
had
that
talked
long.
about it just beforehand that as we go out there and hand fight, we wanted to be prepared for her to jump in the air for guard, and we were going to immediately align our knee in the center of her tailbone as she was jumping guard, so that when we hit the ground...
Did she ever fully close it? I think she did, right?
I think just temporarily, but your knee was already in.
Yeah.
Okay, I was on my knees, but my knee was vertically up in the guard with my body.
Yeah.
So I opened the closed guard, and she was transitioned to half guard. And she played half guard on the side opposite that a lot of people play it on. She played it on her left hip, I believe, and most people, I think, play it on their right hip. Whatever it was opposite of what I was used to. But we definitely still practice that. So I got chest to chest, and I got a cross face, and I ended up passing her guard. And then in the transition of me passing her guard, she began to turtle to avoid the points. And I used a half Nelson to take her back. And then as she went to pull my seatbelt, my choking hand, my seatbelt arm over her shoulder so she could get her back to the mat to escape, I took her arm and I armbarred her from the back, which is something I practice a lot, actually. It's something I've been kind of working on, was armbarring people from the back position. But she kind of forced herself into the armbar. So she took my choking hand, brought it over her head to her other shoulder, and as I fell, I kicked my leg over her head and armbarred her. And it was the most satisfying submission I've ever hit in my life. So I was super, super happy after that. It was just the best feeling in the world to get my hand raised in the finals of the absolute division, and then go and hug my dad and just, I just like cried. It was like really, really amazing.
I remember standing there waiting for you to come running over, and was standing there next to one of the guys that runs Flow Grappling, and he had asked if you got double gold that day, and I'm like, no, she did not get gold in her division. She just got gold in absolute. And he's like, wow, that's really impressive, coming back from losing your division to winning the absolute division. So I remember that just before you made it over to the sideline. It was really great. And then it was only about 4 seconds after you were off the mat that Tom was calling me.
Yeah,
already.
he FaceTimed us. It was so awesome.
I've never seen
us.
Tom DeBlas so excited about anything in my life. He called and I answered it, and it was a FaceTime call, but I just answered it as a phone call. And then he's like, put me on FaceTime right now.
I can't see you. Where are you?
Where are you? I can't see you.
And he's like in his hotel room, I think. And he was just like...
He was like jumping up and down. He was so
like,
excited.
you deserve this. I'm so happy right now. I'm so fucking happy. And like, you and Meg, and just like went on. And he was so happy. It was really great. Especially after preparing with him for 2 weeks prior, like flying from New Jersey to California, and doing my 2 weeks with him and Jaden preparing was super great. Super supportive, and like an amazing coach for sure.
I think to sum up 2022, that was obviously what we had worked really hard to get to.
Exactly.
And it paid off. It does not always pay off, but we put in more than a year, multiple years worth of work with small, perfect steps along the way to get to that point. And you guys definitely earned it, working your asses off the entire time. So we finished out the year just before the end of the year with promotions to purple belts. So congratulations on that.
I liked that IBJJF loophole. That was good.
Yeah. We just have to go back and compete at
I was like, I really don't want to have to win Blue Belt Worlds again, because what if I lose? Like, come on. Like, I'm not going up.
So 2023 is just getting started. You know, we kind of are working on some new stuff, you know, mixing up some new things into our game to add and keep evolving. First thing on the docket for you guys is going to be the Flow Sub-Only Squads event. For those of you that don't know, it's going to be a 4-team division, 4-team super fights, 5 people per team, 2 females, 3 males, and Hayleigh and Meg are on the Flow BJJ Tom DeBlas team, along with Sam McHale, Jacob Sonia, and Kevin Eastler. The other 3 teams are going to be Homa BJJ from Quebec, Canada. They feature Maxim Cote and Franco Pena. Franco just won IBJJF Black Belt Masters as well. And Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu from New Paltz.
He got double gold too.
He did,
He
yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a super nice guy. I'm very excited to see his matches.
He's a very large, strong gentleman, probably 6'5", 325. And then Black Hole will have a team, as well as the Academy from Portland, Maine. It's going to be a super fun event. 4 really, really tough teams. Impossible to predict who's going to win. There's so many different ways.
Especially because it's 5 people per team, so it's like anything can happen. Like just like you know, your best people could lose, and then
there's the overtime, which always adds in.
And the Molly Womp rule.
That
so
I'm
it's
excited
an EBI overtime, which means almost anything can happen. We've seen a lot of upsets because of EBI overtime. The main event for that is going to be Andrew Tackett versus Sean Yadimarco.
This will be
that I
great
am
match
so excited for.
Sure.
So interesting thing about that is both Tackett and Yadimarco, I believe, have won world championships at the brown belt level and are fairly new black belts. So Andrew just got his black belt within the last 3 months after winning worlds, and then Sean has had his a little longer than that. I think he won worlds last year. So that's going to be awesome. So last thing I want to cover with you guys before we wrap this up is this weekend is the Polaris 8-person female $20,000 prize professional jiu-jitsu tournament. I want to play this back a week or 2 from now and see if you guys are right or not. Let me give you guys the lineup of people who are going to be on the card. It's basically the who's who of professional female grappling right now. Fionn Davies, who just won ADCC. Amy Campo, who just did phenomenal in ADCC as well. Took out Gabby Garcia along the way. Liz Clay, who is always dangerous in any rule set. Brianna St. Marie, who silver in ADCC, just barely losing to Fionn Davies. Julia Malay, Maggie Grindotti, and Giovanna Jara, who just won, I believe, double gold at brown belt at Worlds.
I think she is one of my top picks. I think she's extremely strong, super good top pressure in jiu-jitsu. But Amy Campo was also very, very good. It's hard to pick a favorite because, like, they're all people that I look up to.
I'm a fan of a lot of these,
Yeah, like Brianna St. Marie and Fionn Davies are 2 of my favorite grapplers. But I know they are on the smaller side of the division. I know that Maggie and Giovanna are cutting a lot of weight, I'm pretty sure, to be in this tournament. It's a 145-pound tournament. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Brianna and Fionn are going up for this.
Yes, because they
and I think Maggie is
Maggie's like she's been cutting from like 160.
Yes, in the 160s.
Yeah.
To get to 145. Yeah, and Giovanna
competes in heavyweight.
Is not small. She's probably going to be assuming the biggest of this group as far as
but she
size.
Could get caught for sure. So I don't know.
The cut has to go good.
Yeah.
If you're cutting that much weight.
So we don't know how the bracket's going to lay out and who's going to fight who, but for me, matchups I would like to see. I would love to see Liz Clay against Giovanna Jara. I think that would be a really fun matchup. We've already seen Amy Campo against Liz Clay a couple times.
I want to
They've
see
each won once.
Yeah, I want to see Fionn Davies versus Amy Campo.
That would be interesting too. There's a pretty
They're both
big
the
size.
ADCC champs.
Yep.
Each division.
That's true.
That's
And they're
true.
calling this bracket the absolute division that they deserved at ADCC. That's what they're talking
I
about.
like it. I like that. All right, so you've got to pick one person. Who you got winning it?
I'm going with Fionn. I think she's undersized, but I think
I
she's gonna carry through.
think I have to agree. I
Oh,
think,
Fionn
really?
Davies.
yeah.
Really?
I think
Okay.
that's who. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
That's
think
tough. All right.
What are you
I think
going
my
with?
second choice that would be Giovanna, whatever.
Giovanna Jara.
Yes.
She's I believe, the only brown belt in the division.
Yeah.
But that's probably just time and technicality. It's certainly not because of her skill level, because she's obviously very, very good. Maggie Grandati is a late replacement for Jaden Mueller, who was supposed to be in the division as well.
I was so excited to see
I
her
know.
compete in that.
If she was in it, that'd be my pick for sure.
All right, so we got both of you going Fionn Davies. All right. Okay, let's wrap this up. We have some kids jiu-jitsu classes to teach, and we've got to get some training in for the Flow Sub Only on April 2nd. Make sure you guys check the info out on that, flowsubonly.com. And appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank
you.
you.